Hi everyone, Professor Lady here. I see there's been a lot of interest in my Hudson Valley UAP and drone videos, so I wanted to give a quick update. So, as we know, the Trump administration announced that they know what the drones are in New Jersey and elsewhere, New York, and that is FAA approved research. Okay, Biden couldn't tell us that. Something seems off. FAA approved research, but for what? And it seems like a simple explanation, yet a few months ago he said they were coming out of someone's garage. I don't know. Anyway, they're still being seen, the drone-like UAP objects. So I wanted to share a couple of sightings that I have received, and thank you for sending them in. So let me read this one to you. It is from Hopewell Junction. And Hopewell Junction is in Dutchess County, southern Dutchess County. And the approximate time was 9 o'clock. It was a V-shaped, low flying object, quiet, flying low over trees. There were 3 witnesses. I asked them how they felt when they saw this. They said awe and excitement. They don't have a photo or a video. Now, this really caught my attention because, as you may know, there was a major, one of the biggest in history, UFO flaps in the Hudson Valley in the 1980s. And one of the signature craft that was seen by my family as well, who, before I met them, my in-laws, in the 1980s, huge boomerang-shaped objects, the size of a football field or more. So this was one of the few photos taken of an object in the 1980s over the Hudson Valley. And what's interesting to me about this particular photo, it's a circle of lights, not a boomerang per se. So that was, different shapes were seen, but this one happens to be circular. But the more common shape that was seen was the boomerang. That looked something maybe like this. Multicolored lights. Shined a light down on the road and seemed to be scanning the road, and people would get out of their cars along Taconic Parkway up here, probably very dangerous, and stare at this object. And 2 of those people were my mother and father-in-law. God rest their souls. They're no longer in the physical here, but I heard many, many stories. And they, oh boy, my mother-in-law had this hovering over her car, sort of tracking her for a little while. Her clock skipped ahead, but she didn't lose time. She didn't have missing time. She got home at the right time that she should have gotten home. They also pulled over with some people. One happened to be from the Air Force. He said, that is not ours. Our military does not have anything like that. they wandered over to a truck stop where everyone seemed to be under this anesthetic type effect, where they were sort of in a daze, almost as if they weren't seeing this object. But my in-laws had seen it, maybe because they had approached from a distance, but the people who were there at the truck stop seemed to be in a daze, not really aware that this was hovering over their heads. So, is the V-shape thing going to be coming back? That's why when that person said V-shape, I said, oh my goodness, are they back? One more thing I want to share with you in regards to Hudson Valley sightings is, if you have not heard of the Pine Bush Museum, it is incredible. It is the UFO Paranormal Museum in Pine Bush in Orange County, where they've memorialized a lot of what occurred in the 80s and beyond in the very haunted and bizarre Hudson Valley in terms of UAP and other paranormal activities, but mainly they focus on UAP, right? And this is their website. All right, so they have great exhibits. They have this thing where you can sit in the back seat of Betty and Barney Hill's car and experience the terror of what they were seeing, which was up in New Hampshire. You can also visit various exhibits in the museum. This is not a silly little museum. I don't know what the Roswell Museum is like, but this is professional. It is really well done. There are sightings described on a scrolling screen where each sighting is described, quotes from the people who saw it. And you can take your picture with aliens. There's a tube. You can go in that. There's an alien on an examination table. Great for the kids, but you get like real info. And I know a lot about the sightings up here, but I got a lot of real great inside info from going to this museum. It will not be a waste of your time. They have lectures, they have speakers, they have once a year they have a silly parade in Pine Bush, because Pine Bush was definitely the locale of a lot of weird sightings back then, and then it continued. And the Pine Bush sightings were very paranormal in nature. So there was a lot of paranormal activity accompanying the sightings in Pine Bush, in addition to physical craft. And there was strange lights closer to the ground, all kinds of phenomena. And I think at the museum they talk about what people saw, and they have little reenactments and dioramas and stuff. So Pine Bush is UFO hotspot headquarters, ground zero for definitely the UFO phenomenon in New York in the 80s and beyond. So check out that website, or if you're local, go. So as I mentioned, I am going to be embarking on a study with some amazing researchers about the impacts of experiencing one of these UFOs in the Hudson Valley in the 80s mainly, but beyond then too, on the consciousness of experiencers. And that means that we want to look at changes in outlook, in interests, in beliefs, in even spiritual beliefs. We want to learn about how people around them reacted to the sightings, or them telling the sighting, sharing their sightings. So if you are watching this and you happen to have seen a UAP, otherwise known as UFO, back in the 1980s, mainly in New York, Hudson Valley, as well as over the border, because it did travel along 84 into Connecticut, I'd love to hear about your sighting and your experience, but I also, at some point, want you to take this survey that I'm going to be putting out about how the sighting impacted you um, over time, perhaps over decades. So this kind of study has been done with the Phoenix Lights, which was more a one-shot event where thousands of people saw a huge object hovering over Phoenix. But we're going to study with the Hudson Valley. As you may know, the flap was 83 to like 86. And there had to have been at least 10,000 witnesses. We know of 5,000 at least. Again, you can read Night Siege and Linda Zimmerman's documentary, In the Night Sky, I think it's called. All of her amazing books. J. Allen Hynek was right here studying the Hudson Valley sightings. So he knew something incredible was going on to be on the ground investigating that. So I want to hear from you. If you saw something in the Hudson Valley in the 1980s, or if you want to share one of your sightings from anywhere, put that in the comments. And if you've had more recent sightings in the Hudson Valley, again, I have the form where you can report to me and I can add you to the map. And I can share the map with you directly if you're interested. So Hudson Valley folks, if you're out there, hope you find me, and I hope you get involved in all of that. Have a great night. Keep your eyes on the sky, and don't forget to watch my latest videos about Jake Barber's amazing, incredible interview and revelations in his News Nation interview with Ross Coulthart. You cannot miss it if you are interested in this topic. It is a can't miss event. Bye.